Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble. Gosh, you get out of one day of 4 days in a row without saying this, and all of a sudden you forget everything. Podchaser, Spreaker, Streaker, you name it, I'm everywhere. Why? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness, and that's why there's no gossip on this show, no scandal, no K-words, no Kanye talk, formerly or now, because I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have topics and guests to that end, and 604 consecutive weeks on the air. We're fast approaching 12 years. It'll be May 1st, 2012 is when I started this little project once a week. And thanks to COVID, I got bumped into the morning show every weekday morning. And for those of you who said a show that was not angry rhetoric or political whatever, shock and awe, wouldn't last. I'm so glad that you were wrong. And I'm so glad that you are here with me. And I am going to just, let's see. I'm going to remove this destination from the stream because it's having some issues. So I'm going to do this now and see if that doesn't help. This may or may not help. Good morning to Troy. It is post-turkey tryptophan. Got on the scale this morning. It's okay. Weight is like money. It goes up and down. And we just get back. I got back on the bike. I got back in the pool this morning. I had a great time enjoying the deliciousness of life while I was up in San Francisco. No regrets. And now we're bucking down. And it is Monday. Monday. Do-do, do-do-do-do. I love Mondays. I know it's not always the favorite day for many people, but I love Mondays. During COVID, I think it was just like too much, Troy. But I actually started a series called Monday's the New Friday. Didn't take. I think it was too big of a jump for people to accept. But so glad that you're here. We are focusing this morning on Mental Health Mondays because it is Monday, and I am a big cheerleader for taking responsibility for your own mental health. And yesterday I got to speak at Agape Bay Area, very well received. I did not bring shame to the Agape family. I'm happy to say they want me back more often. And that was really nice. And I put the promo up for today's show because we're going to do, thank you for that heart, we're going to do part 2. The talk that I did yesterday was bless you, not the one with the horse, but an actual bless you. And my Kool-Aid was that before we bless you, it's so important to bless me. And it's, that order that some of us, get a little screwed up. I just suggested the book by my friend called Codependent No More. Melody Beattie is a wonderful friend of mine. She actually, during a very tough time in my life, was my anchor, and we did a gratitude exercise back and forth. She actually made that into a book called Making Miracles in 40 Days. If you see Dr. Joie in that book, that's me. And it was a beautiful exercise. So gratitude taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich, a practice of discipline that we started here on the show. Welcome in. I see eyeballs rolling in. We're going to start with that, as usual. 8 specific things that I am grateful for, and then for yourself as well. Troy in the chat, who is co-captain of my cashew gallery, as well as Frank. You can also chime in, my sound engineer. What are you grateful for? That's how we start the show. That's the top of the bun. Then the bottom of the bun is what we like about ourselves. And then after that, we're going to talk about the topic of the day, which is, why is it that what other people think, especially of us, is so important? I woke up with that topic last week and I said, I can't wait to do that topic on the show. So that's why we're doing it today. So Troy's got the first gratitude. What are you grateful for? Let's see. He is grateful for a smooth return to work after the holidays. Yes. And also he is grateful for the long rest. Yes, we just had. I don't think I've ever had that many days off since I started weekday mornings. That was Thursday, Friday, well, then the weekend. But I don't have the show on the weekend. But it did feel like a long holiday for me. So, yes, you've got 2 gratitudes in there. I am grateful that Frank was in studio. I was a little slow, and I drove back. It took me, I left at 3 p.m. or 2:30 p.m. after being treated out to dim sum lunch, dim sum and then some, by my beautiful people at the Agape Bay area, Reverend Joan, Virginia, and my coachee, my happiness coachee, Jin. So we went to this really good dim sum restaurant. I'm so grateful for good food. And then drove from like 2:30. I got home to Long Beach at 8 minutes to midnight. That was a long drive, and I will not drive in the dark again. There were a few times where I was just like, I'm so tired, and it could have been bad. So I probably should have pulled over, but I gotta get home. But it was a beautiful drive. I'm grateful for the scenery along the one. If you haven't done that, if that's not on your bathtub list, which is my version of a bucket list because buckets are too small, please do put that on. I promise you will. It's breathtaking, that view down the coast. All right. Emily Thorsby. Oh, first amazing show. I'm grateful for my voice and for all that big support. Yay. So glad that you're here, Emily. I think we're probably at 8 with the gratitudes. Let's move to the bottom of the bun. The bottom of the bun is gratitudes outside of yourself. The bottom of the bun is appreciation. I'm calling appreciation things that you like about yourself. If you're anything like me, I was brought up to be, don't toot your own horn. You're not all that. Be humble. The nail that stands up is hammered down, which is Chinese and Japanese saying. So for Asian women especially, you do not talk about what's good about you. So obviously, I failed in my ancestry over and over and over again. But I believe, it's my BS, my belief system, that good mental health starts with self-care, self-appreciation, self-love. And that's a muscle that not a lot of us are very strong in. We're looking for love in all the wrong places sometimes. We're looking for approval. We're looking for likes. And with social media, that's literally now. And maybe that's why I'm so against looking at numbers. But I absolutely know that if you know what you're good at, know what you're not good at, celebrate the things that you are good at and the traits that you do have, you're going to be in a much better state of mind to, take the knocks and when shift happens. So that's why we do the bottom of the button. You ready? What do you like about yourself? Troy who is streaming in from Chicago, is ready with his appreciation. He appreciates his ability to be grateful. It keeps you positive even when the thing that even about the thing that doesn't seem so great. Troyisms, here we go. Let's see. I appreciate my ability to, I think I said this before, but I do getting back up, knock down, get back up. It's a life thing. I think the ability to be like a ball, bouncing back up is a skill. And I've gotten practice with that, and I appreciate my ability to do that. All right, that's 2. Anybody else? Anybody else? Going once? Appreciation. I appreciate that I'm funny, that I love to laugh, that I love good food, that I am present-centered, and that's it. I think that's 8 now. Thank you so much for having breakfast with me here on Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show on KCAA, NBC News Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. And I promise you that if you do this discipline for 28 consecutive days, you will sandwich your day in the most positive way. So thank you for joining me in that. Where's my applause? Here we go. All righty. All right. Let's go to the topic at hand. Why is it so important that people approve of me, or why do other people's opinions matter so much? And you know what I love to do on this show is when I have a question, I do love going to my assistant, Google, to see what other people have said, or if there's any research that's been done. Why is it so important what other people think? And let's see what happens. I will share this with you and see what pops up, because I just love. I used to think I did not like doing research, but I think I'm being proven wrong, because every time I have a question, I like to do this is research. The short answer, this is from Mark Markson. The short answer to why we care about what is simple, it's because we are not psychopaths. Oh, this is a positive frame. Caring about others' opinions makes us empathetic, not pathetic, compassionate, and able to form friendships. In fact, other people's opinions and perceptions often lead to joy, empathy, compassion, and deep connections. Interesting. He took the positive side. Let's see, any other, there's a Quora, that's everybody. Medium, somebody writing about it, why you should care. I want to see if there's an actual, it looks like there's a therapy group. Is there a research? Interesting. So there isn't. That tells me Psych Central. Okay, I don't know if Psych Central is it's a blog. Well, it's not not an actual research paper. So this guy, Harvard, here we go. Harvard Business Review. So they are actually doing some research. Let's see. Michael Gervais. Oh, and of course, the picture is of Frenchie, so it's got to be good. If you want to be your best and perform at a high level, fear of people's opinions may be holding you back. Our fear of other people's opinions, or FOPO, it's got a term, has become an irrational and unproductive obsession in the modern world, and its negative effects reach far beyond performance. If you start paying less and less attention to what makes you, your talents, beliefs, and values, and start confronting and start conforming to what others may or may not think, you'll harm your potential. If you really want to conquer FOPO, you'll need to cultivate more self-awareness. Most of us go through life with a general sense of who we are. In a lot of circumstances, that's enough. We get by. But if you want to be your best, while being less fearful of other people's opinions, you need to develop a stronger and deeper sense of who you are. You can start developing a personal philosophy, a word or phrase that expresses your basic beliefs and values. The philosophy isn't a platitude or slogan, rather, it's a compass guiding your actions, thoughts, and decisions. Like it, like it, like it. Gonna have to go look this guy up. All right, let's go here. Let's stop sharing. There's two extremes. All right. I love that, how I accidentally did that. On one extreme, it is good to care what other people think, because if you don't care about what other people think, you're a psychopath or a sociopath. When I studied clinical psychology, it was during the days of DSM-3, the diagnostic manual, and I believe that sociopath and psychopath, they do not care or what other people think or how they feel is completely irrelevant to them and their actions or what they choose to do, as well as narcissism. So if you're with a narcissist, they, if you say, I feel like you are, hurting my feelings, or I feel like you just insulted me, their answer is, who cares? And so that's an extreme. So we don't want that extreme where you don't care at all what people think. On the other extreme is people who care too much. And I'll be the first to admit, I can remember when I first started working, especially, and I was a consultant. And OMG, if someone had an issue with what I had said or done, I would literally stay up all night and compose a letter or a note or a treatise or an email to try to get them to approve of me or explain or defend or explain why I said or did what I did. And it was exhausting because my head was on a swivel every day at work. Did I do good? Did I do good? Do you like me? Do you like me? Do you like me? Do you like me? And it was a horrible way to live. And I now, playing armchair quarterback, know that one of the fundamental reasons why I cared so much about what other people thought is because I grew up, my whole existence and my whole ability to feel safe depended on what my mother thought. And I've been very open with this. I am one of the 7 out of 10 of us who've had childhood trauma. And my mom, I love her. I talk to her every other day. She really did do the best that she could. This is my Chinese mom who's in Toronto that has Parkinson's. And she really, really believed that she was helping me by the horrible things that she said and did to me. So, but she really, her intent was good. The impact was not so good. But I don't hold that against her most of the time. So when she still asks, have I gained weight, which she did last week, I do get a little bit perturbed, and then I have to work through the process again, but it's faster. So I'm not angry for 10 years. So suffice it to say that I developed this overactive caring about what other people think. And I think that that is one of the definitions of codependency. So if you're a person who is afraid to say something, afraid to do something because of how it will look, the good news is you're normal. The bad news is it will keep you, as that Harvard Business Review was saying, will keep you from, stepping out into your potential, stepping up into your potential, stepping up into taking chances that may help you, in the long run. Because if you don't make those steps, then you'll never know, right? If you're a perfectionist and you're afraid, like many of us who grew up with that trauma become perfectionists too. And perfectionism is, you don't want to do anything unless you're pretty much guaranteed that it's not going to get criticized, which is perfectionism. It's another way to look at it. It's not just being perfect. It's not just hitting the 100% mark. It's also not putting yourself in a position to be ridiculed or put down or ostracized or hurt. Okay. So for those of us who've had that experience strongly, 7 out of 10, that's the majority, right? My honorable moniker, Oprah, says 8 out of 10 of us. There's some psychologists out there that say 94% of us have had some kind of childhood trauma. That's the majority. So we got to be real about this. There's nothing wrong with this, but what happened to us sort of gave us the coping strategy to not step out, to not take the chance and say something, not volunteer to take on something, just in case we fail. And when we fail, we're going to get hurt emotionally, physically. That is a coping mechanism that helped us when we were kids, right? I use the analogy, we built a raft, heavy raft to manage the whitewater. And now as adults, there's no whitewater around. There's no water, but we're still carrying that heavy raft on our back just in case. So the work here, are we at halfway? Not almost. First half of the show, I like to talk about the problem. I like to talk about the reality, put the moose on the table, which is my Canadian version of the elephant in the room, why we care so much about what other people think. So I'm just explaining one possible reason why we over attend to what other people think about us. Is it could be that you're in that same boat that I was. You built the same raft that I did, because someone else's approval is so important. It's attached to how I think of myself. It's attached to how loved I am. It's attached to how important I am. It's attached to how I'm seen. That's one of the negative consequences of over caring about what people think. Again, balancing it out. We want to care somewhat, because you don't want to be a narcissist. You don't want to be a sociopath. You don't want to be a psychopath where I don't care at all. But if you're anything like me, the tendency is to overcare instead of undercare. So again, I'm going to move into solution. Balance. If you are someone who doesn't care at all, you may want to look at, you're probably a person who doesn't have a lot of friends. Because if the people are healthy around you, they are going to be like, I think I matter, right? And they won't want to hang out with someone who doesn't care if you matter or not. On the other hand, you may have a lot of friends who are codependent, because an interesting thing is, if you haven't worked out this stuff, you will be attracted to someone who is like the person who ignored you or abandoned you or treated you poorly, because that's another consequence of being someone who was your first childhood memories are of being not cared about. Does that make sense? Same adage, people who become psychologists, or those are the most effed up ones. I said effed up, ones in the past. Okay. So that you try to fix something that was broken when you were younger. So in my case, again, reality, I, like 7 out of 10 of us who've had childhood trauma, guess what I did? I purposely picked a guy to marry who didn't abuse me physically, but did not pay attention to me. Like I had to literally, I'll never forget that one point of, oh, this is not about him, this is about me. I came back from a business trip and I walked in, he was watching TV and I'd been gone a week. And this is before we had kids. I walked in the room and he didn't even look up from the TV. And I was just like, okay, now, to be fair, this is the same guy that I knew before we married that he needed some help. And I said to him, you need some therapy. Life sucks for you. You've got this like negative thing on your head. He had childhood trauma as well. And when I was in that healthy moment, I broke up with him and said, please go and get some help. And he called and said, I made an appointment. I'm seeing a therapist on Monday. Let's get back together. And I said, no, go. I was healthier then. 6 months, go see a therapist for 6 months, and then we'll talk. And then the following week, a very close friend of ours suddenly died of a heart attack. That took me down from a healthy place to a needy, hurt place. And what did I do? I reached out to him. Next thing you know, we're back together. Next thing you know, I'm ignoring all the things because I'm back in my hurt child. And next thing you know, we go on vacation. And I think in my head that he will love me one day. And so the fact that we really both want to have children, that was first and foremost. So I picked a man who never told me he wanted to be married. He never told me that he wanted to stay married. But because he didn't say no, I thought, oh, that still means it's possible, the potential's there. So I'm telling you this because, I live my life out loud on my show. But I'm also qualifying that if you're in a relationship or you find yourself surrounded by people who are mean to you, who don't care what you think, who are, insulting you, and you're angry about that, I would ask you to look at your history. Are you attracting people to be not nice to you because you're still in that place of wanting love from people who are difficult to give love to? So I picked a man who, like my mom, was incapable of giving me that love that I really wanted. And that's not on them, that's on me. So yeah, that's a big one. So I don't know if you're ready to hear that. It is Mental Health Matters Mondays. That's why we're talking about this. If you've just tuned in, I am Dr. Marissa, your hashtag positively opinionated host. I am a PhD in organizational psychology. I am not a clinical psychologist. So what we're talking about here is from my experience as a happiness coach. And I do have a successful practice in that. So please do take everything that I say. It's not for everyone, but it is something to look at. I want you to be happy 88% of the time. That's my mission, Happy 88 mission, 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. And so Mondays are dedicated to talking about things that we can control, that do not involve ingesting something that have side effects. So I'm not bashing that industry, but I am asking you first to look at things that you can control in and of yourself that may be getting it in your way of being happy. And the topic is, why do we care so much about what other people think? So that is, you're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and my YouTube TV channel, where if you free subscribe, you will get an alert every weekday morning to tune in to this show about hope and happiness. And I do see that Orville Nation is just here streaming in from Portugal. I believe he's still there. Thank you for joining. Your co-captain of the Cashew Gallery, Troy, is here. And we have a new streamer, Emily Thorsby, her first show. So we're welcoming her. And what is your opinion on why do we care so much about what other people think of us? And that's the topic for today. So we're going to move into solution. If you are someone who does now see that they're over caring about what other people think, let's go back a bit. Let's first of all be real clear. Who in your life do you care about what they think? So if you care what everybody thinks, including people like in the store line, or let's make this very real. So I drove down from San Francisco yesterday, and I got the sunset by the Bixby Bridge, and I'll be putting that beautiful clip on my social, Doc Balance on Instagram, Dr. Marissa everywhere else. But I had people, who felt like I did something to them on the road, and to be, if I was, let's just say it this way, I was cut off way more than I cut off. And I think I have to be honest, I think I cut one person off, but I had at least 5 people cut me off. And a couple of those were like, I was shocked because you cut me off and then you give me the finger. I didn't cut you off. So I was like, what? And like, how dare you? And I know people, including myself in the past, who would now spend the next 10 minutes caring about what that person thought and following them. That's that classic road rage. It's like, who are they to you? Like, who cares? So I had to talk myself off of, and this is a tool, like literally when I was very codependent and I cared so much about what everybody thought, I had to learn how to use the tool called who cares, literally. And I would task myself with any time someone had a reaction to me or said something or criticized me or was not nice to me, I would force myself to say, who cares? Now, I wouldn't say that to their face necessarily, but I would say it in my head. And that would help me balance myself out to the other extreme if I cared too much about what every single person thought. So I'm not saying this for if you're a narcissist or a psychopath or a sociopath who already doesn't care about anyone, this is not advice for you. Y'all need to care a little more. But I'm talking about those of us where I was maybe 15 years ago, where everybody's opinion mattered so much more than mine. It was just a horrible way to live. Staying up all night, trying to convince people, defend myself. That's what I'm talking about. If you're at that extreme, you know who you are, then you will adopt, or you will benefit from adopting the tool called Who Cares? Okay, so that's one tool. Let me go and see what the Cashew Gallery is talking about over here. All right. Let's see. We got good mornings. Okay. There are different reasons why we care. IMO. What's IMO? In my opinion. Sorry. Some are spiritual, some are habitual. Okay, so far so good. One reason we as a society care so much is being amplified by social media. Constant reinforcement of feedback and affirmation on one hand, the fear of being canceled on the other. Yes, or unfriended. Let's see, by the way, cancel Troy. That's not very nice. Orville Nation, you sometimes do carry it too far. Okay, so he's got a, sometimes, brutally honest is not your job, Mr. Orville Nation. But anyways, I would say that, yes, I completely agree. IMO that social media has brought out the worst in some people, especially those who are brutally honest and they walk around with the BS, the belief system that everyone has the right to my opinion, which is so not true. I believe that there's never brutally honest. There's never a reason to be brutally honest. You can be honest, but you don't have to be brutal about it. And I have gotten into a practice of I will not give you my opinion, except on the show, unless in my personal life, unless you're paying me for it, right? So, and I won't give my opinion unless I say, do you want my opinion? And that keeps me from having to apologize. I hate apologizing. So honestly, if there were a way to filter everyone to say, I'm going to give you money for your opinion, but it's because I've seen so many people lose an entire day of their lives because they'll post something on purpose to get a reaction. Somebody will react, they react back, then they're checking to see if they're reacting back, and it goes on and on and on. You've just wasted, or then you call your friends, or then you tag people, and then they're in on the conversation. It's like, who cares what that answer is? Who cares what your opinion is on that? Who cares? So that's the tool. It's a harsh tool, but it's for the extreme. Okay. Now, the other rule that I use is for, where that first definition, where it is good to care about what people think, because that is one of the glues that keeps friendships together or people, getting along. And, I'm an organizational psychologist. So getting the job done on the top of the wheel, you're not going to have it done if you cannot have solid relationships under it to get that work done. So that's why relationships at work matter, not office romance, but real, like working. You don't have to love the person. You don't even have to respect them, but you have to have a common, we're in this together and we want to get this job done. So in those cases, the feedback rule that I have is if 3 different people tell you the same thing about your ability to connect or not, if they tell you the same thing, then it might be something that you want to change in order to, have a wider influence scope. So again, this is when it does matter what people think. So here's the exercise. You write down what you think you are. And this is in 8 Ways to Happiness, my book that I got to do a wonderful book signing with this weekend and at Ferd's Garden in Berkeley. So there's an exercise in here. Who am I? If you know who you are, at the core of who you are, 88% of the time, 88% of it good, 12% of it not so good. So I'll give you an example. I know I am, and this is like the bottom of the bun in the gratitude sandwich. I know I'm funny, even though my husband said I wasn't every single day we were married. I know that I'm caring, not all the time, but most of the time. I know I'm loving, not all the time, but most of the time. I know I'm creative most of the time. I am articulate most of the time. I am fun-loving all of the time. I am brave most of the time. And then I have things that are not great. I'm critical a lot. I'm judgmental a lot. Okay. And I don't have the P word in my vocabulary at all. And when people thank me for being patient, I look over my shoulder to see who they're talking to. So I know who I am. That transcends whatever's happening, and it transcends any of your criticism. So when people say to me, God, you are just so critical, and I will say, I'm working on it, and I am, and I'm not proud of it, but I am. But the good side of that is my criticality will help me avoid getting into situations or have relationships with people that are not going to be good for me. So there's an upside even to the downside. I also want to say at this moment that a lot of people have this negative motivation that says, I just don't want to be like my mother, or I don't want to be like my father. And my response to that is, you're going to be like your primary role model. So cut yourself some slack. Of course, I'm going to be judgmental and critical, which are key things that I grew up with from my mom, because that's who my primary role model was. And I have genetics, right, from her. So I cut myself some slack. I cut her some slack. She's not perfect. I'm not perfect. And it's something that I work on. And there's an upside, right? The upside to controlling is protection. The upside to brattiness is fun. The upside to sadness is sensitivity, and sensitivity is 100% correlated with creativity. So you can hear how much I know myself, how much I am aware of exactly who I am. That's the work, folks. If you are too focused on other people defining who you are, then that means you have not done the work to really know who you are that transcends what people say about you and about, what's happening around you. So that's the work, folks. That's my advice that I do take most of the time is, do you know the good, bad, and ugly of who you are? Because if you know, then it matters less what people think of you. And at the same time, it does matter what people who are close to you think of you, because you're going to find out, this is another tool. Does your intent match your impact? Are you really who you think you are? Are you really the person that you want people to think that you are? So that's that feedback coming back. The 3 people saying 3 times the same thing that they think that you could fix in order to be more effective with more people. That's what feedback is. So hopefully you can understand that. Thought that might be an emergency. Sorry. You can actually ask yourself whether or not that's feedback that you want. Does that make sense? So the extreme is, who cares? You don't need to know at all from people who don't matter. But then the people who do matter, you do want to know what they think. That's the exercise. That's your challenge. Ask the people closest to you, what are 3 things that they love about you? And see if those are things that you want to be. And 2 things that might make it easier for them to have a relationship with you. Now, those are not things that you can maybe change, like my criticality or my judgmentalism. I don't know if that's a word, but again, it really, it depends. Where's that balance? Does that make sense? Okay, let's see what the Cashew Gallery has said. All right. Yes, Dr. Marissa, he's picking on you. There you go. There's a practical. I responded, when people ask me, may I be brutally honest? I've responded, sure, if you don't know how to be honest in a nice way. Okay, that's very nice, but I would be a little more direct and say, no, When you can be honest without being brutal, please feel free to come back to me, because you're still giving them permission, okay? And honestly, if they are saying, may I be brutally honest, you're too subtle in that. I think that person may need to get a direct hit. That was a side hit, but that's just me. I have been known to I am known as direct, and that it works a lot of the times, but sometimes it doesn't work. I step in it, but yeah. All right, so that is my take. Or if you have any questions on that, you are tuned into Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KZAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, and my YouTube TV channel, where if you free subscribe, you'll get an alert every morning. And you will also get access to my short films, PPP, post-pandemic possibilities, as well as my red carpet playlist with all kinds of fun interviews with some A-list celebrities, from Lieutenant Uhura to Dawn Wells, Marianne from Gilligan's Island, and the latest one joining that group that's in heaven right now is Bishop Carlton Pearson. He just passed to the other side. So please do enjoy he's such an amazing wordsmith, especially PJ. You would like him. I don't know if you have already known him, but he is freaking amazing with words. He also has an amazing story. But let's see. I am going to do some analytics to see, because I know that PJ's wanting to celebrate. We are 4 short of 2,000. We're up to 1996 subscribers. And let me see how many views we've had in the lifetime of this wonderful channel. 302,425. So we did we overshot the 302,000 views. Thank you so much, everyone, for continuing to be such wonderful supporters of this, my platform, to splatter more hope and happiness to you, and also, to fulfill that happy 88 mission, 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. So let's follow that last piece of advice and play a little game here, and actually make it to honor. This is the it is the Native American Heritage Month, November, and we're coming to the end of it. So the Harvard Business Review article said it helps you not be so caring about other people's opinions if you can choose some words or mottos that you are clear that you live by. So I'm going to combine that with the Native American heritage, which is the descriptive names that people have. So if someone gave you a descriptive name that would summarize who you are, what would that be? So if you were, so I'm gonna take a stab. I'm gonna call PJ. My word, my Indian name for PJ would be Running Deep Waters, because he's a deep thinker, and he's always running. How's that? So that's my name for you, PJ. What would be my name? And Troy Pacelli, who I'm going to be on his show, by the way, this Friday on Last Call with Troy Pacelli. So go to his YouTube channel and free subscribe. You'll get an alert when I come on and talk on his show on Friday. But what would be my name? Let's see. I'm going to think about a name for Troy. I would call him, let's see, Fun, Chillaxin, guy, fun, chillaxing guy. There you go. I'm going to give you another way to do this if you don't want to do a Native American name, is your life motto. So my life motto for my past is no regrets. For my future is don't die wondering. And the newest one given to me by a guy, a friend of mine, Dr. Marissa, lives as if life has no boundaries. So I really like that. So what is something in short form that describes who you are? Let's see what we've come up with. And I know my counter here is not the same as yours. So give me a 2-minute, Frank. Thank you. All right. So my name for let's see. My name for doctors would be transmitter of sunshine. Oh, that's so cool. Yay. Let's see what else. Oh, like, what is that? Let's see. Any more? What is yours, Troy? What is yours for PJ? And let's see. For Frank, I would make his name, let's see, music, life, and sleep. So that's an inside joke. All right. Let's see. Maria's not here, but I would say for Maria, it would be cat, something to do with cat. So 9 Sweet Lives. How's that? For Alon Carter, it would be Tempted to Have Fun. How's that? Let's see. Name for Dr. Marissa. Oh, no, we did that one already. My name for PJ is Defender of Mankind from the Great Banana. Okay, that's definitely an inside. All right. We are up against the end of the show. Thank you so much for joining us today on Mental Health Matters Mondays, where we talked and answered the question, how do we stop caring so much about what everybody thinks and only the important stuff for how we can be more have our intent match our impact more. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. You can free subscribe to my YouTube channel and see if we can't get to 2,000 before Friday. But I agree with you, Troy. We are going to absolutely get to that number, and I'm excited about that. And we can celebrate on your show. And I'm knowing that y'all are going to have the best day ever. And because it's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Now, we still have a minute, I think. If you would like to have me speak at your organization anywhere, this is my commercial. Now that things are opening up, I am filling my motivational speaking calendar for next year. Would love to have a convo with you. Just go to drmarissa1.youcanbook.me to schedule some time. Go to drmarissa.life and fill in all the information, and I'll give you a quote there. I'm so delighted to have shared this time with you. And now, let's see. Oh, thank you very much for that compliment. Now go and have the best rest of Monday ever. We'll see you tomorrow.